Okay, now that we got our existing profile, we're going to add a design profile. So this design is going to be the center line of my proposed road. Okay, so we're going to come up here, we're going to click on profile, and we have already now created our surface profile. That's the first step. Now we're going to profile creation tool. And the first thing it's going to ask me is, what profile do we want to use? Okay, so I'm going to click this one, and there it is. I've got my my alignment selected, because that's the only alignment in there. And I'm going to call this one Dev Road. Okay, it's going to be a centerline profile, of course, and it's going to be design. All right. Criteria. You can use this just like we did alignments. You can use a design criteria. We are not. I'm going to churn off and have no labels for this. I'll just add them later and hit OK. And now we have a very similar tool to what we used when we did the alignment. Okay, so looking over here, we have draw tangents, draw tangent with curves. You can even see the curve settings here. When you get into transportation, you'll learn about k-values. That's just a way of designing the your curves for vertical curves. And you'll see there are two types. There's the crest and the sag. So just think about crest as if you were to peak at the top of a hill. That's a crest. And the sags at the bottom, okay, where you have a slope coming in and that. And I believe we'll have both of those on there. And we're not going to make any changes here. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to use it by tangents, okay? We're going to move in here. So I want to snap to this endpoint. I want to use this endpoint as my start. Okay, so I'm going to do shift right click. I'm going to choose end. I'm going to just snap there. And I'm just going to follow the grade for this road here. So I'm just going to pick, everyone's going to be a little different. I'm going to click over here. And this is the alignment. And it's okay to have your PVI point above, because if we put a curve in, it'll flatten it out. And I'm just going to go like this. And I'm going to choose the endpoint here. And we're just going to hit enter to end it. And you'll note that, again, it didn't do any labeling. I can click on these, and the nice thing is I can move these a little bit too. I can still move them, okay? And I might want to move this down a little. Okay, so I got that going. So you can make your edits here to it. Okay, your proposed center line. Now let's go ahead and let's add some curves to this. Okay, and to add curves, what we're going to use, we're going to put in some parabola types curves. Okay, so we're going to choose the free vertical curve. Okay, we're going to select that. And what we're doing here is we're going to choose the two tangents on which we want to create these curves here. So I'm going to click this one here, and I'm going to click this one. And then it's going to ask me, well, what curve length? Now, this is where you might get an error, because if I choose a curve length that'll go past this PVI point, that will create an error. So I'm going to put in a small curve because it looks pretty tight here. So I'm going to give a curve length of 50. Okay. And then this one, I'm going to go bigger. I'm going to click this one and this one. I'm going to give this a curve length of, let's do 150. Okay. And I'll hit escape. All right. So there we go. We've put my curves in, and we can modify them with grips as well. Okay. So that's the beginning of my curve, my end of my curve, and that's what we call my PVI point up here. All right. And let's say I want to put in a point. It's like, hey, I want another curve here or a PVI point. I can come in here and create that point and just pick approximate location, click there, and now I've got another point here. Okay. So I can change that. if I want. So I got a PVI point there. And so that's a great way of designing a road. Now, we can also click on this editor here, and I can edit those, okay? And if you get back out of it, let's say I close everything out, I can click on that alignment there, and I can use geometry editor, and I'm back in, and I can change these things. So let's say, you know, I want that to be, I want it to be, I don't know, let's make it 75. See if we can fit 75 in there. And there it did. It changed that. And it's a green because that's what's selected. And I can, once I get out of that, it's there. All right. Now, let's add some labels to this. Okay. So click on the profile you want to add the labels. I can add labels to it. Actually, let's go to annotate. This is the easiest way to do it. Go to annotate. I want to add labels. And you'll see that profile view, add profile view labels, okay? And I can add those there, okay? Or individually, or I can click on this one and edit the labels. This is the preferred way of doing it. And so what I'm gonna do is I can see the various types I can add to the whole entire profile. Okay, so that's the nice thing. It does the whole profile. So let's say I want to put in major stations. Yeah, let's add that. And that's the style for it. Perpendicular ticks. Okay, and then let's say, oh, I want to do lines. And this is the style that it's choosing. I don't want to do slopes. I want to do percent grade. I can add that. And I can add also maybe a crest curve. Okay. And I want to add that, and maybe I want to add my sag curve. So I'm going to add that. That's the style. Okay. And maybe I want a grade point change, grade break. Okay. Station over elevation. Yeah, let's do that. So we can add that. And I hit apply, and there they are. I've added all these points. And let's say I don't want these stationings. Well, I can just go back in. Again, click on that. Let's edit these. And let's say, I don't want that. Just click on this, on there, and just hit the X button, and it removes them. Okay, you can always add them back. And there we go. I've got all my profile labeled. I got my curves. This is a crest curve. This is a sag curve. And here's a grade point change. That was that extra point I put in there. Point to remember when you're doing vertical curves, and this gets in the real world, if there is an algebraic difference of 2 or less between them, you do not need a curve. To such a subtle change. Okay? And there they are.